Race 2 of the Zwift Racing League has racers in categories C and D return to the glass roads of New York City as riders take on the Everything Bagel route. This is the queen stage of the round, and it's going to be extra spicy given that riders will attack the New York KOM Reverse and the New York KOM, along with 2 sprint segments for some added fatigue to those legs. New York's Everything Bagel is the longest route on New York City and the perfect route for a hard 1 hour plus race effort. It covers nearly every section of road, many of them in both directions. Make sure to be warmed up because this race start, you're going to be climbing almost immediately as you hit the New York KOM Reverse. This route runs a total of 34.9 kilometers with a total elevation of 547 meters. It will likely be a day for the climbers and a day of chasing for the sprinters because this route is anything but flat. Bike choice this week, it is hard again not to recommend the Specialized SL8. This frame being lighter and aero will give riders the speed where they need it, as well as the ability to push the climbs. This bike paired with the NV 4.5 Pro or the DT Swiss 65 will provide the fastest times on this route. The Specialized Athos with the Roval Alpinist wheel set is also a great choice for this route for those who are pure climbers given the elevation gain. Overall, bike choice will be highly dependent on the rider and their race strategy. Given the long descents and that I'm no climber, I give the nod to the Pinarello as the Athos will likely give up a little too much for me on the downhills at the higher speeds, and I'll be doing a lot of chasing. The first test for everyone will come at 2 kilometers. When the riders arrive at the base of the first glass tunnel, do expect things to kick off here. At the 2.8 kilometer mark, there will be a 200 meter reprieve of draftable road before moving on to the final portion of the climb, with the max gradients hitting 10% at 3.5 kilometers and then 14 at 3.8. After what is sure to be an epic battle up the KOM, riders will reach the KOM banner at 4.1 kilometers. Those who have created a gap will now work to keep it, while the others start the job of chasing them down. Riders will have to ramp it up to hit the descent as lead riders will want to hit that super tuck. You don't want to ease off here or you may see yourself roll to the back of the pack and see the pack roll away quickly. Do what you can to stay with the group. With this steep gradient and draft speeds, it will get fast, and there is nothing worse than getting unceremoniously dumped after a big climb, especially knowing this course has a second round of this in store. After the descent, there is no shortage of rolling terrain, which means riders will have to pay attention to what's going on in the groups, and the pace may fluctuate. The first sprint segment will ramp things up again at 13.5 kilometers. The New York Sprint Reverse is a short and what will be fast 150 meter sprint on an average negative 4.3% grade. This means that many will be launching their sprints over the top of the small bump just prior to the sprint marker, where they can carry their speed over the top and through the segment. Starting your sprint too late may make it difficult to pass riders as speeds will be high and true powerhouses will be difficult to pass. So jumping early and using the pack to slingshot may be the move here. The rolling terrain will again continue as riders will ultimately make their way back to the New York KOM proper. At 19.3 kilometers, it's time to climb again as riders will carry the momentum of a quick downhill into the glass tunnel. The next 700 meters will hit grades up to 10% before leveling out, where riders will be able to get a short amount of recovery. The gradient will kick up again at 20.7 kilometers, and then the terrain will roll and be relatively uneventful until riders hit the New York KOM at 24.8 kilometers, where you will jump right into a nice 14% gradient to kick things off. The climb is a 1.4 kilometer length with an average gradient of 6.1%. Again, climbers will attack and everyone else will chase, or at the very least be in damage control at this juncture of the race. Given that there are FTS and FAL points here, it is going to be a spicy climb. If the first one wasn't bad enough, this one is going to be the full bottle of hot sauce. The climb ends at 26.2 kilometers, but the finish can be a little bit deceiving and take riders off guard thinking that the run in is flat. While everyone will likely be relieved by the flattening out of the climb at 25.6 kilometers and excited to have the ability to draft again, it is short-lived when riders will hit a nasty kick at the 26 kilometer mark that quickly hits about 15%. Keep on top of the gas, kick over the top and through the KOM. Riders again will have to ramp up to hit the descent, as lead riders will again be going after that super tuck. So don't ease off, or again you run the risk of watching the pack roll away. The descent will be over at 28.3 kilometers and riders will almost be immediately greeted by the New York sprint at the 28.5 kilometer mark. This sprint is a flat 230 meter sprint, which again will be a high speed affair, especially given its proximity to descent. Be wary with this one because you may see riders go long utilizing the descent and the pack to launch their attack early and get the jump here. The remaining 6.2 kilometers will vary greatly depending on the race. Is there a breakaway? Is there a large group? Or is everything completely shattered with pockets of riders everywhere? What has happened will determine the pace of the race at this point. Don't expect it to be calm. Pressure will be on in some way, shape, or form as riders head through the final bit of rolling terrain. The final kilometer is all downhill, and at this juncture, any effort is going to be tough. If there happens to be a sprint, it will be fast and raw watts will be king. So best of luck in the Queen stage. Make sure you have a good warm-up and have an even better race. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we will be waiting for you at the finish line with the next Recon. Until next time, see ya.